welcome to Article Writing. In this lecture, you will learn how to write an article fit for a Level 2 writing exam. So what we're going to do first is go through the basic layout of an article and how to write it with some minor adjustments just effective enough for Level 2, okay? So now, first things first, when we're writing an article, you need a heading. This could be a normal heading like Great Day Out. It could be What do you think of Twycross Zoo? Or anything. So that could be a standard heading like Great Day Out, a rhetorical question like What do you think of Twycross Zoo? Question mark, or an alliteration. So from the language techniques lecture, you would have learned that an alliteration is something that has two or more words beginning with the same letter, like beautiful, bouncy balloon bonanza. It could be something like that. Okay, and you could be talking about hot air balloons. Okay, so just as an example, your heading could be anything you like as long as it relates to the question. Just make sure you have a title. You can put it in the middle of the page if you're writing it on paper, or in the middle of the page if you're writing it on an online exam. So it's really nice. Just try and think about what kind of articles you might have read in magazines and how the layout is for that, and try and write it a bit like that. So as well, within your article, you can have subheadings. So you can write an introduction. I wouldn't put the word introduction as your subheading. I would just write the introduction underneath your heading, and then start doing your subheadings after that. So your introduction is a brief sentence to start your writing, okay? So don't start it with something simple like I've been asked to recommend, or I've been working at such and such. Try and be a little bit more coy about how you begin something. So for example, one of the questions is talking about some work experience that you did, and you are doing a review of the you're doing a review or like an article about the work experience that you did. So you don't have to start it with I did work experience at. You could start it with something like work experience is one of the best things that you can do as a teenager. Okay, so it doesn't have to start with something simple. All right, so you might continue that by then saying I recently had the pleasure of doing work experience at a music concert in Skegness or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples, so don't panic. So you've got your heading now, we've talked about the introduction, and then we can start on our subheadings for each topic. So for our subheadings, you can have more than one paragraph in the subheading, in one subheading if you want to, and you don't have to worry so much about having too many paragraphs. It's okay, but don't make them too short either. Now here it says remember to point, explain and evidence. Don't worry about that too much. That's mainly for GCSE. It's supposed to say point, evidence, explain as well. That's my fault. But don't worry too much about that, because what we're trying to do here is write a nice simple article. You don't really need to point, evidence, explain in too much detail in functional skills. But think about your target audience and what information they would require. So if you're writing about your work experience and you're trying to get other people to do work experience at that place, then it'd be a good idea to, be really positive, be very biased, as we were just talking about in the reading lectures. So if you're being biased, it means you're talking about all the good things that happened at your work experience, and you're being very positive. However, if you didn't like it and you wanted to be really horrible about the place that you worked, then you would be negatively biased because you personally didn't enjoy it. Okay? So you need to give some personal opinions in there. So, for example, if it was at a farm or something, my children really enjoyed feeding lambs, and later we had a lovely picnic by the edge of the lake. Or Alton Towers can become very crowded, especially during the holiday, so I would recommend you buy a fast track ticket to jump the queues. The other thing you really need to remember is it does not have to be true in the slightest. Just write a story, make it up as you go. I think a lot of people struggle with these things because they think it's got to be true. And then they automatically sit there, read the question, and think, I don't know anything about a music festival, or doing work experience, or things like that, or going to a farm. So it doesn't matter, just make it up. Okay, lie. All right, so when you've finished writing your article, you need to close it off. So do not say anything like in conclusion, okay? You're not writing a report or anything like that. You are just writing a nice article about your experiences or about what you've been doing. So you might want to say something like, why not come and experience Stafford for yourself? Or why not come and experience the Balloon Bonanza for yourself? Or don't forget to subscribe for next year's Balloon Bonanza. Okay, it can be a completely made up thing, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then at the end of the article, you just put written by and then your name. Okay, so nice and easy. You can underline or embolden or put your subheadings in italics to emphasize the main points. You can use different fonts with different styles and sizes, but in the exam you're not able to add an image, so don't worry about that. Just make sure at the end you put written by and then your name underneath, okay? But I'll show you that in an example now. So here is the question I was just talking about. So you worked at the festival in your chosen role and really enjoyed the experience. So just to give you a bit of background information, the previous question to this was to write a letter to somebody asking if you could have a job at this music festival. And so the next question, which is this one, is the fact that you got that job and you really enjoyed it. So the festival organiser has asked you to write an article for their website to help encourage people to apply to work at next year's festival. She is keen for you to advertise the fun elements and benefits of working at the festival. Okay, your task is to write an article for the festival's website. Now be careful here. It says the organizer has asked you to write an article for their website to help encourage people. So this is going to be a very positive article, persuasive article, to apply to work at next year's festival. She's keen for you to advertise the fun elements and benefits of working at the festival. Feel free to underline any of that if you're on a written piece of paper, like if you're on a written exam. Again, if you're on the online exam, then it won't be quite so easy. Now you get 24 marks for this, and it's between 250 and 300 words, which is a lot less than you might think. So I'm going to give you an example now. So you will be assessed on presenting information clearly and concisely, using an appropriate writing style, using a range of sentence structures, including complex sentences and paragraphs, to organise written communication effectively. Now don't panic about that. You're naturally good at this because you're all adults and you know how to write like an adult and speak like an adult, sorry. So when it says including complex sentences, you'll find that you're probably doing that without even thinking about it. So just don't worry yet. After the lecture, have a go at one of the questions and send it to me, and I will tell you if you need to work on any of those. Don't forget to punctuate your text accurately and use commas, apostrophes, and inverted commas where required, and ensure writing is fit for purpose and audience with accurate spelling and grammar that supports clear meaning. So again, just have a go at one of the questions afterwards, and I will tell you which areas you need to work on. But just so you know, that's what it is that you need to look at to get quite a lot of your marks. So don't forget then don't forget your heading first. Then you've got your introduction. You could have a subheading here, paragraph 1, another subheading if you want to, paragraph 2, another subheading if you want to, paragraph 3, but it's up to you. It depends how you want to write the article. Then you would have your close, so your nice finishing off, and don't forget to put written by here and then your name here, full name, both first and last. Okay, so this is the heading for the example answer. Working can be such fun, exclamation point. And then let's look at the first paragraph, the introduction. Last summer I had a great time, met great people, saw loads of bands and generally had a great laugh. I was on holiday. No, I was working and getting paid for it. Okay, so that's a really nice introduction. Really simple. Here they've got a nice rhetorical question. I read it wrong, sorry. Was I on holiday? No, I was working and getting paid for it. Okay. Alright, so your introductory paragraph can be just as nice and sweet and as simple as that. I don't know if you can hear that alarm. I apologise for it if you can hear that alarm. I don't know what it is. Okay, so now your second paragraph, okay, there's not a subheading on here. You don't have to use subheadings. You just can if you want to. What sort of job was it? I was working at Amelie Family Festival. If you have, okay, so here they've made a spelling mistake, so spelling, some spare time, from August 20th to the 22nd. Why not join us this year and be paid for the privilege? I worked as a litter picker, but there are other positions such as security guard, or again spelling GUARD it should be, childminding or stewarding. Personally, I would recommend being a litter picker because it meant I could wander round the site and watch the bands while I was picking litter. Brilliant and not really hard work at all. Okay. So again, a nice paragraph. They're telling you about the different types of job roles. They're telling you the dates. Again, make this up if it's not in the question, which it isn't, so you can make that up. That's fine. You should know the name of the festival. It does tell you that on the paper. And they've just gone through the different jobs that you could do. I would recommend doing this because it meant I could wander around and watch other bands, which is great. And he put brilliant and not really hard work at all. So it's already a very positive start to the article. I like it. Okay, third paragraph. I was paid the minimum wage, but on top of that, I was given accommodation, okay, spelling error, for the weekend and all my meals. What's needs an apostrophe because it means what is. What's more, I was not on duty all weekend. I had to work 3 6-hour shifts, and all the other time I was free to do what I like and go and see what I like. Okay, so again, a little bit of grammar there. What I liked, I guess. I made some great friends and can't, apostrophe, wait to see them all again this year. Okay, again, nice positive paragraph. It's just been made up. 3 6-hour shifts. That's not true, but it doesn't matter. Okay, just be careful of your spelling and grammar as pointed out. This could be you writing this article in a year's time. Why not give festival work a go? That needs to be 2 separate words. I promise you will have such a laugh and will want to do it year after year. Apply by clicking the links in this website. Okay, again, lovely ending to, this is kind of like your closing paragraph. It doesn't look as long as you might have thought. Can you see? You've got introduction, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and close. Okay, I would recommend a little bit longer if you can. However, this student did gain 20 marks out of 24. Okay, so here, detail 3 out of 3, all points in the brief covered with sufficient expansion. It was very concisely expressed throughout. It wasn't all jumbled up using lots of words and writing an entire page that didn't really say anything. It was specific. That's nice. It was clear. There was clarity. 2 out of 2 marks for clarity. No issues of clarity. It was very easy to read. I suggest you do it like this. Nice, simple layout. Nice, simple points and information. The format, 4 marks. Apparent that it is an article because of the heading/title, so that's fine. You didn't actually need subheadings if you didn't want to, but you can if you do want to. But you only get 1 mark for format anyway. Structure, 4 marks. Heading and good closing appeal. Language, 4 marks. No language issues at all. Spelling, right, 2 marks out of 3. 5 spelling errors in suitable length document. See tables. Okay, don't worry about that last bit. But yes, there was 5 spelling errors, but still was awarded 2 marks out of 3. So, you could still probably get away with getting a really good grade, even with a few spelling errors. Punctuation, only got 2 out of 4 though, because he had 7 errors for punctuation. So 5 actual spelling errors, and then 7 spelling errors that involved punctuation. And then grammar, he or she scored 3 out of 4 because there was a grammar error. So altogether, 20 marks out of 24, and they still made these errors. So you can see that you can actually write a really nice article with a few mistakes, and you're still going to get a really good mark and pass. Okay, right. I hope that was helpful. I hope you understood it. The best thing to do now, I think, is to read the sample. The sample article again, so you can see what I mean by a clear, concise article. Don't forget they didn't use subheadings, but you can if you want to. And just make sure it's clear and concise, and you are answering the question properly. But other than that, you can just make it up. Just write a nice story, but make it clear. Paragraphs, spelling, grammar, format, heading, close. Okay, just make sure you include all those things and you'll be fine. Well done, and thank you very much